What's going on, Washington fans? Welcome to the JTFB show. Hit that subscribe button and hit the like button while you're at it, and drop your comments on the video below. Now, while I was at the gym just now, we got an update on Jayden Daniels' injury, which seems to be his ribs, which we kind of already knew, but we've been waiting to hear what the extent of that injury was. And of course, I'll give my thoughts on if I think he will play Sunday. And y'all know I hope he does, because I will be at the game. Spent a lot of money to get to this game. So this is just my luck. But nonetheless, I'll be there. I'll be excited. But we did get an update from Dan Quinn today. So let me go ahead and pull up what we got from Ian Rappaport. So in the tweet that he put below, it says Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels, who left Sunday's win early because of his rib, suffered an injury that is not considered to be serious, but does require treatment and monitoring throughout the week. Sources say his status versus the Bears is up in the air. Just looking at some more updates. Jayden Daniels is officially week to week per coach Dan Quinn. We're hopeful he could play, but there are real unknowns and they'll be cautious. That's the big line I want y'all to remember. Safe to say the showdown between Daniels and Caleb Williams is in doubt. Ian Rappaport has to be Mr. Negative. But I do think he brings up a safe point, talking about that they will be cautious. And that's something that Dan Quinn even said in his press conference. We will do what is right by the player, the person, and kind of more of the long-term planning of this, and really take care of Jayden Daniels as a player. Now, Jesse Morse here, sports doctor, physician, sports medicine physician, said that Jayden Daniels, great news. Just a little bit of insight onto what the injury is, and then some other things that I've heard, like some side notes. Jayden Daniels, great news. He reportedly did not suffer a rib fracture, which would have been terrible. This is likely a rib cartilage injury, which I alluded to here, talking about in another video. These can be painful as the nerves run in this area, and they are responsible for so many things. I think that's very important to remember as well. Usually take 1 to 2 weeks to return to play, so week 8 against the Bears is a realistic possibility, and if not, definitely week 9 against the Giants. So, first off, good points here. With Dan Quinn talking about, long-term, we want to protect the player. Is it worth him playing against the Bears in a season that we're 5-2 right now, after, beating the Panthers as bad as we did, 40-7, and Marcus Mariota actually looking really good? And I'll talk about him for just a little bit in this video too. It's not going to be a long video, but I just want to give my thoughts and update y'all on what I think will happen. But also talking about that injury and exactly what it is. Of course, you don't want Jayden Daniels to get hit. You don't want him risking, if it was to be a rib fracture or something long-term where he's out multiple weeks, 3, 4, 5 weeks, to where it could really just offset how the season's going. Like I said, you're leading the NFC East. You're 5-2 right now. Is it really worth risking Jayden Daniels playing in a game? And I know NFL flex this game out. It's supposed to be Caleb versus Jayden. We want to, show up against these Bears fans that are talking nonsense lately. We want to see that matchup. But is it really worth it? And we know Dan Quinn, heck, even Adam Peters and Josh Harris will say if it's not worth it, if he's not ready to go, if it's risking injury, it is not worth him being out there for one game. I think, and talking about this other tweet about the injury, if not week 8, definitely week 9 against the Giants, which is the more important game. That's the NFC East game. You want to sweep the Giants this year. You want to extend that NFC East lead that you have right now. That's the game you're more worried about. I'm not saying you're going to overlook the Bears or anything like that, but talking about importance, talking about weight of a game, that's the game that you really want to have him ready for. So is it worth him being out there? Now, of course, you don't want him, like I said, getting hurt, getting tackled to where he's injuring these ribs even more. But something else that's not talked about is just the discomfort with this injury. With these ribs, you have your pads on and everything. People aren't talking enough about the throwing motion. If it's bothering him that bad, it's not even just like we don't want him to he's in pain kind of thing. Can he actually throw the ball as well as he wants to, down the field, have that torque, being able to contort his body and really get that throwing motion in there? Can he do that? That is definitely going to be hindered with all those nerves that he has in those ribs. Now, with that being said, part 2 to that, if they really want him to play, there's a way around it. There is a lot of things from what I've looked up from, other people have said, and just doing my research on it, there is some things that they can inject in Jayden Daniels above that rib, whichever one it is, that really helps numb the pain, kind of like an ibuprofen, but you're really injecting it. But like I said, and what is alluded to in this post, there's a lot of nerves going on there. You really don't want to just say, hey, we're gonna. I mean, if you've played sports before, you know how this goes. We can numb you up. We can get you back out there to where you don't feel it. You could play through it. If Jayden Daniels said, I want to play Sunday, if I'm good enough to play Sunday, first off, they're going to do this anyways. They're going to juice him up. They're going to inject that stuff above his rib and get him a little bit more comfortable to where he's not feeling that discomfort. But is it worth it once again? You don't want to risk anything long-term coming from this. If he takes a wrong hit, if he throws the wrong motion, of course the game plan is going to be different. You're not going to be having all these design runs. Even when he just goes down normal, you just don't want him to land wrong. So there's so much, to say, yes, he could play. And then also it's not really worth it. Honestly, right now, just after what we've heard update wise, and then just seeing, what I've read so far, just kind of putting it all together. If you had to ask me right now, do I think he plays against the Bears? I'm like 60-40. And that's 60s for no and the 40s for yes. And that could change throughout the week. And Dan Quinn said, we're going to go through practice. We're going to do the right things. We're going to make sure he's getting the treatment he needs and see how he is. He's going to be a true game time decision. When I'm on that plane Saturday flying to Virginia, getting ready for this game, we're not going to know who the quarterback is going to be for Sunday. We will not know until Sunday morning. And the fact that it did get pushed back just a little bit more really does help out, though, because if he is a true game time decision, it gives a few more hours to really assess how he is, get him out there, get the pads on. And if they do inject him with some numbing stuff and he's good to go, then great. We're going to have a great game. But if not, you have to give respect to Marcus Mariota, by the way. And I'm going to give him his flowers because he deserves them. Looking at his stats against the Panthers when he came in, that first drive wasn't pretty, but he went 18 for 23, 205 yards with an 8.9 average, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Only took 1 sack, which was like the second or third snap he had in the game, and with a quarterback rating of 132.8, which is nuts. And then he also ran it 11 times for 34 yards. So you got to give him some credit. He was the second highest graded player according to PFF on Washington. And looking at throws beyond 15 plus yards, he had a 91.5 passing grade. He went 7 for 9, 127 yards and 1 touchdown. The offense did not skip a beat with Marcus Mariota in there. So is it the end all of Jayden Daniels doesn't play? No. After what I saw and after seeing that Marcus Mariota can actually get comfortable in the offense, that was a completely different team. The Bears defense, and I'm going to do a preview show for it later on in the week. Don't worry. I guess I'll have to do with Jayden and without Jayden on the preview show. But it comes down to it. The Bears have a really good defense. It is a completely different team than what we saw against the Panthers. But I'm glad that Marcus was at least able to go through that in-game experience, get those reps with the wide receivers, communicate with the offensive line, talk to the running backs, and really get comfortable in the offense with those live game reps. And like I said, after that first drive, my boy was rolling. That looked like Marcus Mariota from Oregon when he won the Heisman. I was hyped for him. And of course, I posted on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and people were getting mad at me saying, I am going to jump off a cliff if I have to see Marcus Mariota versus Caleb Williams. It's because I want Jayden out there. I want Jayden versus Caleb. I want to beat them at home with those glorious black uniforms on and shut these Bears fans up. It is nothing against Marcus. It was not a shot at Marcus. I love Marcus Mariota, and I think he absolutely killed it against the Panthers. But like I said, this is a completely different team with the Bears coming up. Nonetheless, we'll see how this week goes. We'll see what the injury looks like throughout the week and how he practices. I'm sure we'll get updates on it, but you're not going to know until Sunday right before kickoff who the quarterback is. I promise you. And also, they don't want the Bears to know who the quarterback's going to be. So, yes, there's a side of, hey, he might actually be a true game time decision. But then you also have the side of it of, hey, we don't want the Bears to know which quarterback they have to prep for all week. So now the Bears have to prep for 2 different quarterbacks. Is it different for them? Yes, because now Marcus Mariota can run. He's nimble. We saw that, but he is a little bit older now. He is the Marcus Mariota of Oregon. So you kind of have to take that out of it of, hey, Jayden Daniels is a threat with his legs. We don't have to worry about that as much with Marcus Mariota, but the run game is still deadly for Washington with B-Rob and Eckler and McNichols. Even if Jayden Daniels isn't going to be out there using his legs, they have to prepare for that. So it is different for the Bears. And they also, like I said, they're going to have to prepare for 2 quarterbacks all week long leading up to the game. So we'll keep an eye on it. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know what y'all think. If I had to lean, I think, man, it just really depends on how treatment goes and how he feels throughout the week. But if it goes according to plan, like how it should, he's probably not going to play Sunday. Like I said, I'm leaning 60-40 towards no right now because they do want him for the long game. This isn't like a, hey, we got to beat the Bears. If you lose the Bears, you're still 5-3 and you're still at the top of the NFC East. I don't think like the Eagles, Cowboys. No, the Cowboys don't play each other. They play the 49ers, and the Eagles, Giants just played, so I doubt they play back-to-back. You're still going to be leading the NFC East, and you have the Giants, the game after the Bears. That's the one you need to be worried about. That's the one you need him to be 100% for. So I would not be surprised if he doesn't play. Not saying that he won't, but that's how I'm leaning so far after, gathering all this information, listening to everything that people have been saying about the injury. But it's not long-term, so that's the good news. Be happy. Will I be upset if it is Marcus Mariota? Of course, a part of me is going to be upset because I want to see Jayden versus Caleb. But at the end of the day, y'all know I'll be at the stadium, so hit me up if y'all are going to the game this weekend. I'll be flying out Saturday and leaving like Wednesday, so let me know what y'all are doing. Saturday night, I'm probably watching the Alabama game out, but we'll see. But anyways, hit that subscribe button and like the video. Like I said, drop your comments. Do you think he'll play? Are you concerned with this? Do you want him to stop running? The answer should be no, by the way. Like, if anything, he should have ran to the outside, hit that lane, and like gone out of bounds or something like that. I don't know why he cut back. He should have stayed to the outside. And I promise you, once they watch the film, Cliff was saying the same thing. Hey, man, stay on that outside lane. Don't worry about cutting back across the middle. You had some room on the outside. Worst case, you just run out of bounds and don't take any damage. But still, he's a running quarterback. He's got to run. It's part of his game. He's deadly with his arm, but you can't just hold him back from running the ball. So I'm not mad at it at all. Things like this happens. It's okay. We'll be fine. I know we have PTSD from the past, but we'll be okay. Anyways, like I said, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.